Hello. I think it's going to be a fairly short update this week. I haven't done a heap of anything. I haven't really been able to settle into stuff with the exception of the cross stitch, which I'll show you in a second. So the big loom looks exactly the same as it did last week. Normally when I sit down to weave, I weave for an hour or 2 hours or a whole evening. I just haven't been able to kind of settle into it this week. Nothing's wrong. It's just sometimes that happens. It happens. This one has finally come off the little loom though, and I do have something fresh on the little loom, which I'll show you in a second. This was on the loom for too long, so I'll show you a bit of that. This is the loopy yarn that I cannot identify because it was in my aunt's stash without any labelling. I do know that it is a wool, and I do know that there is a synthetic, which I believe to be nylon, but other than that, I couldn't tell you. I don't have a brand or anything. And the purple is Bendigo Wool & Mill's Dolce in one of the purples, but that's been discontinued, so I don't know that it matters what purple it is. I think it was a lovely doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It started with an L. So yeah, that's how that looks. That's the top side, which is the side with the most texture, and then the other side is a little bit less textured, just because the loops went to the top, I suppose. Now what I'm deciding is if I'm going to double wet finish this, which sounds fancy, but a wet finish is just a wash. And when you wet finish your weaving, what happens is the yarn does whatever the yarn wants to do. So sometimes it stretches, sometimes it shrinks, sometimes it blooms, which means it fills in all the little gaps. Sometimes it doesn't do anything at all. So these two yarns are going to behave differently in the wet finish. And if I do a single wet finish, because I haven't done the fringe yet, so a single wet fringe, wet finish, which is not a thing, that might go a little bit wavy and twisted. And I don't know that I mind that. So I'm deciding if that's going to be something that might bother me. On the other hand, if I plan for it, it won't happen. So we'll see what I do. Next week, this will be wet finished. And I'm hoping also to get a bit more texture on the other side, which may or may not happen because, as I showed you before, the loops have gone top side. Now, on the little loom currently, I'm just going to get this over here, and then I'm going to go over here, shuffle, shuffle. I have more Bendigo Wool & Mills because I am stash busting. I have not bought yarn. Oh, actually, I bought the mystery boxes. They count, don't they? Never mind. So this is, am I in shot? Yes. Just a plain weave. And I was a little bit inspired by the caterpillar cotton pattern that I got in the mystery box, which has one strip of the variegated yarn or the multicoloured yarn down one side, and then the rest is plain. I've just flipped that a little bit. So this is Bendigo Wool & Mill's Dolce again, which is a bamboo and wool mix. This colourway is called Ginger. It is discontinued, I'm pretty sure. I'll double check. I could have checked before I pressed record, but this is not that kind of operation. On this side, we have Bendigo Wool & Mill's Whimsy in the colourway. Great, excellent question. So glad I posed that question to myself. Titania. I knew it was something. That's the colourway Titania. That is not discontinued as far as I know. I'll put a link in the description. So I wanted to use up this, that's going well, I wanted to use up some of these big balls of yarn I've got kicking around, and the Bendigo Wool & Mills balls are quite, actually I'll show you what I mean. If you've never seen one, this is another ball of Dolce, this is amber. I mean, they don't mess around. They don't mess around with the size of the ball. This is, let me see with the wrong glasses on, 400 metres, 200 grams. So the Whimsy comes in 100 gram balls. That's the multicoloured yarn, I remind you. But their general lines, Dolce, Classic, Luxury. I could go on, but I've forgotten the rest. They tend to come in these big balls. So I'm just going to put that back over here. I'll be back. 1 second. Here I come. So I need to use some of those up because they're taking up quite a lot of space in my house. So I think this is working. I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but I think it's working. I think the ginger is working really well with the purples. Get that up a little bit. Fresh on the loom. Went on the loom last night. There's the hem stitching. And I did have more. So the way these balls work is they're wound into a ball, and you don't really know what the colours are until you are using it, because the outside on this ball looked more orangey. It's working with the purple. I don't mind it at all. But there was more orange, I thought. But it's okay. It's working as it is. So that is just a plain weave. Should be quite quick. But again, I thought that purple one was going to be quite quick. I'm just going over here again. I'm just going to put this down because I have cross-stitch progress. So I've been working on Ali. Hello, I'm back. Ali is looking like this. So I'm getting some good, get that get that straight. There we go. There we go. So I've got some good progress on the flowers. This might even be off the frame by next week. I'm making a lot of promises I can't possibly keep. So I'll remind you what Ali is going to look like when the flowers are finished. Is that in shot? There we go, sort of. So there is more flowers to do. We are getting there. I say we, I'm doing most of the work on this. Although Bella's helping, my dog, she's helping. So this is fun. I'm enjoying these, and I am getting stuck into the cross stitch in a way that I'm not getting stuck into the weaving. I haven't gone off weaving. I think I'm just more interested in cross stitching at the moment. I did order frames for these, and they are 1/2 inch too small. And I went to see if I could initiate a return on those. And there's a thick note on the listing that says, all sizes are approximate. And I'm like, oh, well, I'll give it a try, but I think I'm going to be giving away a load of frames. So once I've finished Ali, which is, coming along, I have one more in the series to do, and that is Bertie. And then I will figure out what to do about frames. I just love them. I love the colours. I love the flowers. They're just making me happy. And that is all I have for you this week. That's it. That's your lot. You take care of yourself. Have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.